What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, I will be looking at the lovely Ford Puma here, which was going to be the new car that was added. I do believe right now it's going to be the year 2 pass vehicle, but next week I do believe that's going to change. Let me know in the comments. But as y'all can see though, it is going to be the Hybrid Rally1, so this is going to be a new Rallycross car. Y'all really are probably going to be similar to I am because this is the first new, I guess you could say definitely new Rallycross vehicle that we have gotten in such a long time here in the game. Funny part is, as far as I do know, there's not going to be that many new Rallycross vehicles in this entire update. We all do know the next Summit vehicle is going to be this car with a Red Bull livery, so that's not a new car. It's going to be a new version of the current vehicle, but hey, at least we are going to have the Ford Puma right here. Now, similar to the other vehicles though, you can change some things like the rims, which I would say nobody wants these rims because they are ugly. Then we're also going to have some vanity items you can't do, like tires and all that good stuff. And similar to the other car, you can't touch anything like this because, no livery on a Red Bull Edition vehicle would make any sense. With that though, I do want to do an outside look of this car right now. Now, the only reason I have driven this vehicle, at least so far, was going to be in the Summit itself. But as you guys can see here, this is going to be the initial, I guess you could say, look into the interior. I admit it does look pretty dang dope, exactly what you would probably expect from a rallycross vehicle. I mean, you're going to have your gear shifting there. There's not going to be anything else on the dash. Even going all the way in the RPMs, the lights do not work, which is honestly kind of unfortunate. I mean, I was kind of expecting some type of detail on the interior there, but then again, I feel like many of the vehicles in TCM, most of their interiors are honestly kind of mid when it does come to the detail of them. I mean, none of the lights work. A lot of the other cars are similar, but besides all of that, that is going to be the interior view. The outside view of the Puma is looking pretty nice. For me, I'm just happy to see a rallycross vehicle added because it really has been a minute since we have seen one. But besides that, let's go jump into the new area here. I'll drive down into this zone and go onto one of the off-road tracks here. Then I am going to jump into one of the races with it, try it out, but before I do that, though, let's go drive it onto the dirt here. Now, again, guys, I am not running any pro settings on this vehicle. That's how I normally drive it. I am going to admit right now, the handling on this car is honestly pretty dang wonky. Like, I'm not going to say it's terrible, but it is definitely pretty wonky. Let's put it that way. It is going to slide a lot. It probably feels like it wants to slide a lot. It will probably go back and forth. Similar to almost driving like maybe on an ice rink. Some people said it's kind of like a rally raid handling almost. And I gotta admit, in some ways, driving these vehicles, some of the off-road ones, kind of makes me wonder if maybe Ubisoft shouldn't add any more off-road vehicles to the game. Just putting that out there. I mean, they're kind of wonky. We don't get many of them. And when we do, there's normally not a lot of them being added. And sometimes people might not be a fan of them. Maybe that might change. Maybe it won't. But gotta admit, overall, the off-roading track, you know what, let me look at this real quick. So if y'all are wondering, this might be your first time seeing the zone. There's going to be off-roading here. There's going to be some dirt trails in that direction. Looks like a good amount of stuff. The funny part is this area is large, but it's also pretty tiny at the same time, though. So we're going to have some off-road. I can go that way and come around. Let's do that. Try the car out around that turn over there. So I gotta say right now, I'm not going to say this car is going to be an expensive vehicle to buy because it's probably going to be fairly cheap. So next week, if you're not going to have the year 2 pass, which I would say many players do not, also would not recommend buying it, you can then get this vehicle, then probably mess around with it a bit, guys. You might like it, you might not. Some players are probably going to be happy to see an off-road vehicle being added, but then again, I feel like people are not going to drive this car that much, especially after driving this thing in the Summit. They are most likely not going to really want to use it that much, or maybe they're not a fan of it or something like that. I admit, though, once you kind of get the handling down, I'm not running pro settings on it. I feel like it's still decent. You just have to be careful with it in the aspect of not like turning it really sharp or probably like whipping the wheel back and forth, because then the car might be like, yo, well, hold on a second, we have to go skating first, which I feel like the car will end up doing that. Like, I mean, I've been driving it a bit, going around this track here and there. I was messing around the summit event a little bit, and I was like, yeah, like, if you're going to be careful with the car, maybe not try to, like, whip it back and forth, really use the steering wheel on it and, like, kind of whip the car in, like, a weird direction, maybe hit the nitrous and try to, like, drift it. You are then probably going to notice the car kind of like sliding or something like that. But I admit though, overall the car is pretty entertaining to drive, even though it's going to have this slight flaw with it, which I would say once you drive the car more, it's probably going to get easier. Besides all of that though, let me check out the new playlist real quick. Maybe I can do one of the races here. Let's go to this. Oh, look at that, guys. Rally, and I have to use the Puma. Why not do that race? I do know it's going to be like vehicle alone, but why not drive the vehicle in there anyway, because I'm not running pro settings on it. So let's go do the first race here in the entire playlist. Okay, so jumping into the race here, guys, I figured it would probably be a tad easier if I was to jump into this event. Now, I do understand the car isn't leveled. Funny part is I could probably drive the car in the summit event and most likely test it there, but I gotta point something out though, another reason why I wanted to do this one. Here we are again right now with a regular speedometer over there matching the uniqueness of the vehicle. Like, seriously, man, where is that in this game? Why don't we have that on other vehicles? I don't understand it. Let me customize my speedometer. That would be so dope. But besides that, though, doing this event here, guys, I admit now, I'm sure you're probably going to recognize it because it's the same race that was in the summit. It's pretty much going to be a mix of, like, some dirt and then some regular street and also more dirt and stuff. I gotta say, though, I do feel like the Puma is a pretty dope car, but part of me also thinks about something else. We all do know there's not going to be a ton of rally vehicles being added into the game, but doing this, though, I really wish we actually had more Rallycross races and real Rallycross events. You know, like the ones with the jumps and all that we had in the Crew 2 than regular rally events, which is probably what this is. Which is kind of hilarious because I was thinking about this a couple days ago. Y'all know how they were called Rallycross in the Crew 2? We did end up having the races there with like the jumps. Now at Motorfest though, it's going to be called Rally, and there is not going to be any Rallycross events in the game, which does kind of make sense. I mean, they basically went toward the thing of making the vehicles pretty much rally only. Even though there's barely going to be any rally events in the entire game, I'm guessing with this car here, or at least with this update, there's probably going to be a few more. I think there was only 3 besides these in the game before this update, which is honestly insane. But with that, though, being said, I kind of get caught up in that stuff because I do love off-roading. I really do enjoy it in games, and I feel like Motorfest kind of took a huge step back from the Crew 2. And I also feel like in some ways players are not going to like the off-road vehicles or the way that they handle. And I also feel like most players probably don't even use them. I mean, heck, most of the things I have been seeing is people are not very happy seeing the off-road vehicles being added and stuff. As far as I do know, there is not going to be a lot of new Rallycross vehicles. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there might be a few more. And by that, I do mean real Rallycross vehicles. I'm not saying something like a car with a livery on it. That's not a new car. I'd rather see like a new car like the Ford Puma. I do know the e-tron thing is coming as well, but maybe that's going to be Rally Raid. I'm guessing like the Dakar one maybe that was in there. Thinking of Dakar. Who knows? Might be wrong on that, but that's what my guess is. So this is probably going to be the one new-ish rally car we did end up getting in the game. And I feel like players are probably going to enjoy it. I mean, there's a few things about this car I do like. For one, I love the look of it. Always been a fan of rally cars. I love them. They're insane pieces of machinery. The engineering going behind these cars, the people that drive them as well, gotta give a lot of credit there, man. Driving down like pretty much a forest doing like 130 or something miles an hour is legit insane to me. Like, it really is crazy to watch it. So driving one of these cars, I know, like in the game, like, yo, this thing's pretty dope. It looks great. They did a really good job on the modeling of it. I do like this thing a lot. It sounds fairly decent. I think it sounds actually pretty good. But with that, though, I feel like a lot of players probably, or maybe might be like me, where they might be looking for more rally-focused stuff, or maybe there could be more in it. I do understand the new playlist only has 7 races, which was really depressing. Like, I was hoping there was going to be more in there. That way I would be able to do even more races with Rallycross because I enjoy it. But at the moment, there is obviously not going to be that many events. So if they are adding more Rallycross or off-road vehicles, I feel like they need to add more races alongside of it to make these even more fun. Well, overall, though, I guess you could say my conclusion is if you did end up having the Year 2 pass, I would say most players are probably going to try this car out. If you don't have it, though, do not worry because I would say a lot of players are probably going to buy this vehicle next week. Again, I'm not sure if the car is going to be available to everybody right now. I'm not sure, but if it isn't, all the Year 2 pass vehicles always come out a week later, so you can buy it And I'm probably going to guess and probably say right now that the year 2 pass vehicle, at least for this one anyway, is going to be insanely cheap to buy this car in store, which is kind of odd that they made it a year 2 pass vehicle, considering it's really not all that rare or all that insane. But then again, they probably didn't have anything else to put in there. But besides all of that though, guys, let me know your thoughts on the Ford Puma in the comments below. Do you like this thing? What are some things you don't? Are you even going to be even using off-road vehicles in the game? Or to be honest, I like them, but the lack of events really does ruin it for me, I think. Like, I want more of them. There is not a lot of unique races to the specific classes that we currently have in the game.